Thanks for listening to Get in the Hole, your number one stop for all things in the world of golf. Watch and subscribe anywhere you get your favorite shows on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Google, and more. Just search Get in the Hole. Get in the Hole is the official golf pod of the Underground Sports Philadelphia family of podcasts. Now let's get right into the action. Here's your hosts, Steve McAvoy and Ben Pirro.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
The fuck is up? Get the whole podcast here. Steve McAvoy, Kyle Bennett. Had to fight.
Just throwing the govy out there like that. You throwing my govy out there for the people.
I mean, if you want to give me your social security number and your account info, we can do that too. But
fair.
Welcome into the Get in the Hole podcast. Steve McAvoy, Kyle Bennett, joining you on a magnificent Monday in the world of golf. The Bermuda Butterfield Championship, whatever the fuck the Butterfield is. Don't even know what brand that is. It sounds like a turkey brand. I don't really know. All I know is that we're going to the Bahamas Bermuda. The Bermuda Butterfield Championship. Oh, we're going to the Bahamas. Damn it. Anyways, welcome in, folks. This is a fair warning to all of you. This show is 98% a homage and a love affair to Rory McIlroy. So just be very well aware. For some reason, I don't know why, but I'm going through the motions here, and I'm jotting up the show. And like every other photo you see on ESPN, or like every news story when you look up golf news, is Rory. I get it, he won, but aside from that, like it's the quotes and the comments, and they're still turning to him over LIV stuff. It's like it's a never-ending like train of let's just talk about Rory McIlroy. And now, of course, he's the number one player in the world. But KB, welcome in. Tell the kids how you doing.
I'm great, man. The Phillies are going to the World Series. It's a wonderful time for our company. We get to cover.
Swept.
I don't think so. I think a lot of people are sleeping.
Did they win one game?
I don't know about that. But I'm very excited.
Who's going game one? Is it Verlander and Nola or Wheeler?
We could start Wheeler on regular rest because the first game is on Friday. It's just whatever they want to do.
Okay. Sorry, proceed. I totally cut you off there.
But yeah, I'm thrilled. Final week of being 28, and we're living the dream. For the people out there, you're probably wondering, where the fuck is Ben? Well, Ben's golf schedule is picking up. His traveling schedule is picking up. He's not fully gone. I talked to Ben late last week. He's going to be able to still hop on as a third mic, guest host once or twice a month, depending on his schedule. So Ben's not fully gone. He's still part of the company. He's still this thing. And I knew that this would be something that would pop up because Ben is going to the fucking moon and he's going to be on the PGA Tour. So I knew this was going to happen. But we got to support the boy, and we're going to work on supporting the boy, Steve, because since the last time that you guys recorded, we have a merch partner.
We do.
We have a new merch partner, Getting the Whole podcast listeners don't know about. And that's our friends at PHI Apparel Co. They are truly some of the best people that we could have ever asked to be working with. All of our podcasts will have exclusive podcast-specific merch on their storefront very, very soon. But if you're a Philly sports fan right now, it's the place to go. And Get in the Hole is brought to you by PHI Apparel Co. They provide unique designs and high-quality clothing for the great fans of Philadelphia and all over, and pretty soon for the world of golf, Steve. I've been conjuring up some ideas in the brain. I have some good things in the works. I think that will really pop off for the golf folks. And with their original designs for all, there's no doubt you'll stand out in the crowd. Our listeners can use the code UNDERGROUND at checkout for 10% off any apparel when you shop online at phiapparel.co. That's phiapparel.co, and use code UNDERGROUND for 10% off your order. Steve, they got polos. They got shirts. I saw some hats on there. I got to figure out how we can get that going. But we're going to hook the boy Benny Boy with some merch so he can wear it out on the course, rep the brand.
Man's been asking for polos for months.
Well, we were going to get it going, and then our previous merch provider, they shut down shop as of this past Saturday. So,
oh wow, shame.
It was a perfect storm to have PHI Apparel Co. jump in the fold, and I'm very excited for them to be on board representing all of our brands, and we'll have merch in their storefront for Get in the Hole and all of our podcasts, like, very, very soon.
Very excited to get some good golf stuff going on. You know, I was surprised because like I'm thinking about it in my head of like ideas to like make for merchandise. I do want to make one like officially a black shirt that just says "Live, Laugh, Golf." Like no one's done it yet, and I'm just like, I get it. Greg Norman probably has exclusive rights to the logo, but like, if we can find a way to just make that
our
a
own
thing,
like, we'll make it in like the those signs that you find like when you go down the shore, and they have like the signs you put in your shore house, like that kind of font. We'll just do it like that.
You know what I want to do also? I recently rewatched, as most of you probably know, I'm a Notre Dame sports fan. I rewatched the Catholics versus Convicts the documentary. I would love to make something like Catholics versus Convicts related to PGA Tour versus LIV. I think that'd be hilarious. Like find me some sort of like funny catch all phrase, and we could certainly make something happen. We'll also hopefully find one of Bryson crying and just implant that on a chest plate. We're gonna literally turn this into the Barstool of merchandise. Like it's gonna be even better. Have even more.
We're gonna have shirt. We're literally one of the designs in my brain. Grayson Murray's favorite podcast.
Put his face on it. We'll blow it up.
Gonna put the logo that you see on YouTube, which you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. You get full video episodes of Get in the Hole, and subscribe to the podcast feed as well. Really helps us continue to grow the brand. I did see some people this weekend too, Steve. I was officiating my best friend's wedding. Everything went fantastic. Shout out to Liz and Anthony, two of my very dear friends for life. Some of our partners for the main show were there, and they were like, "You're getting into golf heavy now, huh?" And I said, "Yes, sir." So the word's getting out there that the Underground Golf brand is ready to take off.
Well, you know what else? Not to break away from our back and forth here, but while our golf show is slowly on the eventual meteoric rise, what is actually on probably the biggest rise in terms of the last 24 hours of the golf news cycle is the PGA Tour is now, they're starting to fire back at LIV. There was obviously the lawsuit by 13 LIV golfers, Abe Answer, Phil Mickelson, and co, Pat Perez as well, put out this lengthy lawsuit against the PGA Tour, inciting they weren't allowed to take part in the playoff. They wanted to get they wanted to basically be allowed certain rights that they were antitrust against them. Well, you know what? The PGA Tour is now fired back. They have put out a petition in the New York District Court, federal court, trying to oust the Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund. Is this like a gunshot? Fuck. Sorry. I just heard an explosion outside. Some Batman shit's going on out there. Trying to get rid of the usurper in terms of some getting the whole House of Dragon terms. The Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund filing a petition against them to dig a little deeper into what they're doing. Where's the money coming from? Also, potentially trying to oust the PIF governor, Yasir Orthman Al Rumayyan. Although his name wasn't listed in the petition, he is under federal deposition, apparently. They've also cited multiple LIV players, including Phil, Abraham Answer, and others, about their antitrust suit and are going against them. Don't have a lot of news quite yet, but this is all coming through Front Office Sports. What do we think? Do we think now that there's finally some traction between the PGA and LIV, and possibly a lawsuit strong enough to kind of drive down LIV and possibly expulse it?
It's so wild, and shout out to my buddy Justin A. Byers, who wrote the article for Front Office Sports. If you're not following Justin, he drops some of the like most in tune, like in the sports business world articles for Front Office Sports. So definitely follow him if you're not already. We'll link the article in our show notes and YouTube as well for everybody to check it out.
Damn right.
It's interesting. I don't know. Like the more this drags on, and the more you think about it, it's like I've talked about it when I've been on the show filling in for you with Ben, or when I filled in for Ben with you and Ben have talked about it a ton. So across the board, we talked about it. At this point, like, yes, we know the backing and the funding for LIV absolutely sucks. It's shitty, and they're not good people. But in the grand scheme of things, does anybody really fucking care anymore? Like, the LIV guys are doing their thing. They're on their own, separate escapade, doing what they want to do with LIV. The PGA guys are doing their thing, playing on the PGA tour, doing to pull from the NFL, protect the shield type thing for the PGA tour. And, I just don't understand I do understand why they're, trying to throw punches at each other left and right, but like from a casual golf fan perspective, and from your perspective, I might be speaking for you, but like, do you even really care anymore?
No, but at the same time, though, I get why they're doing this. This is
Right.
As anybody to be the commissioner of a sport, to kind of get a gut punch, I guess you could say, from somebody. Now look, like backstory here on all this. Greg Norman, not for nothing, the second most influential golfer in the last 30 years, the second longest tenured world number one player in the world, only behind Tiger Woods, was at what was as many considered Phil Mickelson was going to be a advisor to the PGA Tour at some point. When he retired, Greg Norman could have very well been the same. Norman took up shop as a golf course creator, multiple courses that he has, including next week in Mayakoba, one of his golf courses that he designed. So, Greg Norman even designed TBC San Antonio. So multiple spots on tour, these players are going to his golf course. Which seems kind of like why would you be doing that if you already know he's against you for this reason? Maybe it's just because he designed the course, he doesn't own the course. It's a different story. But I understand the gut punch that you get from somebody of that caliber who is going to say, I'm gonna try and wipe this tour almost off the planet. I'm going to go and get former ESPN executives, former NBC executives, former major players in the American golf game, and transition them essentially into this new product. And yeah, they're doing some things that the PGA Tour isn't doing. They have better production value, which I will fully support. They're doing the game in a different way. I personally love the team format. I think it works. I think it's what the future of golf really is going to be. Guys creating their own mini teams, kind of like how NASCAR has motorsports groups.
Okay.
I could see that happening in golf at some point if they try and adapt this. But Jay Monahan was so caught up for all of these months to try and be like, how can I get back at this at them? And every single time he tried, it was just dumb, rash decisions that got him to a point where this had to happen at some point. He had to stop the pussyfooting around and finally go to court. Now he has that wish. His staff is finally doing what they want to do. But how far will it go? I don't really know. I mean, what are you going to try and do? You're going to try and expose corruption with more corruption? What do you The PGA Tour, in their own right, $4 billion industry, right? The Saudi Public Investment Fund, they got their money however they got it, but they got it the same way that FIFA got it. They got it the same way that some people in our own government got it. How some people in the worldwide grand scheme of government and business and opportunity, at the end of the day, no one is perfect.
Right.
No one is not to say that no one is doing business properly, but someone has some sort of blood money or backdoor money somewhere.
You're not tax exempt like the PGA is. unless you're doing something kind of shady. See the Catholic Church.
All right. Well, all right. We aren't bringing religion into this one, but like,
well, no, I'm just saying from like a business side of things, like there's a lot of reason where you look at it like business and morally. Those types of institutions should not be tax exempt for a number of reasons. You could say the same thing about the PGA Tour.
I mean, you could say the same thing about every sports league. Like technically, they're considered not non-profit, non-exempt because they do give the charity. They do have their own charities attached, but they fall under the umbrella of the MLB, NFL, NBA, NHL, and all of a sudden you can now turn 32 owners who all have teams that are valued at $4 billion, and all of a sudden turn it around and say, yeah, we're nonprofit. So at the end of the day, the PGA Tour is as guilty as LIV is. I don't care. We're going to get into it. Rory doesn't really care. He said his piece a long time ago with all of this. Justin Thomas doesn't really care. After the President's Cup, everyone was like, oh, like they wanted to bring up LIV more and more and more. Like, why? They're already gone. Just kind of let bygones be bygones and let them have their own tour. The one thing, and the one person who I'm shocked isn't as pissed off about this as anybody else is the people in the PGL that wanted to create a golf league similar to LIV, but do it in partnership with the PGA Tour and make like a quasi tour, kind of like the Champions Tour or whatnot. And they got shafted because Greg Norman stole all their ideas. And what was a startup company has now gone to squash. And now this guy, let me actually find his name, is trying to link up with Jay Monahan, but Jay Monahan's got his head too far up his ass trying to go fight LIV Golf that doesn't want to actually focus on the important thing here. So like all of this stuff is building and getting like worse and worse and worse. And now here we are. Again, to relate back to the question, I don't really care. I don't think anybody else on the PGA Tour cares. Rory said, there it is again. Rory said it best. Like 95% of the talent is here. It's on the PGA Tour, and they play every week like it's a generic week on the PGA Tour. They have Rory. They like you can even just go right now to the official World Golf Rankings and even disregard the fact that LIV golfers don't get points. The top 10, outside of Cameron Smith, who's still world number 3 somehow, like you try and tell me that you're going to put up LIV golfers against Rory, Scotty, Cantley, Rahm, Schauffele, Zalatoris, JT, Morikawa, like Fitzpatrick. Like there's no comparison here. And we even said this for the President's Cup, that there was no comparative here between what the American team was and the international team was. And even if the international team had Louis Oosthuizen and Cameron Smith and Mark Leishman and name player here, it still wouldn't have compared whatsoever. So no, I don't really care, and I don't think anybody else at this juncture really does. But I think this is finally the breaking point for Jay Monahan to finally kind of get his final punch in, and hopefully something comes up aces for him. We'll see.
Do you think at any point, whether it's now or down the line, that the LIV golfers who went to LIV will be able to get OWGR points?
Well, all right. So kind of alluding to what we're going to talk about in the future. I mean, the official World Golf Rankings, they have their own like set of like guidelines to qualify for it. And for those of you who don't know, they were denied. So LIV Golf will not be receiving World Golf Ranking points. The reason being is that they don't operate on the standard 72 hole setup, despite them partnering up with the MENA Tour in Asia. Still didn't really count towards anything. It was also too short notice of them to be teaming up after the proposal was put in. So even that is not going to even matter. They don't reach the hole requirement. They don't reach the field requirement. I think most fields require you to have at least 70 some odd players. That's why you see mostly at these no cut events on the PGA Tour, like at the Zozo and this past week at the CJ, it was 78 men no cut fields. So there are certain like guidelines that they simply don't don't operate in. Yes, sorry. It's fields of less than 80 players, unless you have a exemption. So the last two events on the PGA Tour were exempt because they were structured a certain way. Also because it's in the fall swing, so it kind of like varies with who can play and who wants to play. Like regular MENA Tour events conduct over 54 or 72 holes with a cut after 36. That's the OWGR said they will receive points if there's a cut line after 36 holes, but because LIV has no cut, they simply don't qualify for it. So in those situations, no, they're not going to get it, and they don't deserve to get it. And is it going to help them or throw them off? It's going to certainly throw them off, because now you're going to have guys like Cameron Smith who are going to be playing weeks on tour that he won't be getting points, and next thing you know he's going to plummet down the rankings. You look at someone like Dustin Johnson, right? Where's he right now? Hold on. Dustin Johnson is, oh God, he's 30th. He was 11th about 3 months ago before he jumped ship. So that right there,
still at D Johnson PGA on social.
I think he regrets it. But like it's like these guys are trying to, I guess, like receive penance for what they did, and maybe some will come back, but I think they've already kind of know their fate. It's not going to happen. They're not going to be welcome back for as long as Monahan is the commissioner. And like, look, these guys have said players on the PGA Tour are still friendly with guys on LIV, but at the end of the day, they're just not in the same level or the same field. So until LIV golf changes or they fold and those players try and make their way back to the PGA Tour, which I guarantee you will be total dinguses, and put them to like Q school and make them go all the way up the ranks again, which would be hilarious. Imagine Bryson DeChambeau teeing it up with Grayson Murray. Like, that stuff would be hilarious. But at the same time, though, that's kind of what the future will hold if I had to guess anything. But yeah, the not getting points is certainly gonna hurt them.
Who do you think would be like the one or two players that, if they said, "Hey, we want to come back," would like make Jay Monahan be like, "All right, we'll open the gates again"?
Cameron Smith is one. I think that's it. There's no like.
I gotta look at the
Dustin Johnson Dustin Johnson. Oh, actually no. Joaquin Niemann. They both left together. They both left following the PGA Tour season. So at the very least, they played the year out. I guess they gave the PGA Tour its due diligence. I think because Cameron Smith is just an elite talent in general, and Joaquin Niemann is 20 years old, and to be able to build a golf future where you already have guys in their early 20s like Scotty Scheffler and Will Zalatoris, Colin Morikawa, and Matt Fitzpatrick, then you throw on guys like Tom Kim on that with Joaquin Niemann and Sam Burns. Like, at that point, and Cameron Young, like, at that point, you have a masterclass already that we haven't seen in a very long time. Like, even now, the last generation of like big time golfers who are now into their 30s, Schauffele, Cantlay, Rahm, McIlroy is kind of on the back end of that. Jordan Spieth, Tony Finau, Billy Horschel, Hideki Matsuyama, those were a great group of guys. But we have guys now 20 years old like Tom Kim, who's been lighting the world on fire.
Superstar.
Like, what's going to happen to him? Like, he's going to be incredible. Imagine if you have Tom Kim and Joaquin Niemann teeing it up for the PGA Tour. If they happen to come back, then that would be elite.
Just saying, this podcast crowned Tom Kim a superstar before anybody else.
Oh my God. I said Tom Kim the week of the Wyndham, he was going to win. I call that shit.
We said it post, when you were out one of your weeks, Ben and I said post President's Cup, we said, this guy's the next superstar in the making on the PGA Tour. Speaking
of Tom Kim, to continue to trudge forward on the episode, actually no, I'm gonna sit on that one for a little longer.
Also, real quick, speaking of LIV, the championship is this weekend.
Yeah, what at Trump Miami?
Yeah.
Give me a break. Complete effing joke. Come on. Like,
The LIV Golf Team Championship Miami.
Yeah, some championship. We're going to see Dustin Johnson's team win again. It's ridiculous. They have the 4 best players on the freaking tour, and they're gonna win every week. I'm pretty sure they've won every week. It's like him, Gooch, Pat Perez, and another really good player. I'm totally drawing a blank on. Paul Casey, I think it is.
They're not in first place.
Who is?
Well, at least this past event, which was 2 weekends ago. Smash Golf Club, which is Brooks Koepka's team. They finished first.
I forgot Brooks Koepka's on LIV.
Brooks and Chase Koepka and Kokrak all on the same team.
You want to talk about just complete irrelevancy?
Where did DJ's team finish 4th in that event?
Hold on a minute. Oh, we're getting some breaking news here on this.
Bennett.
Yeah, some breaking news out of golf.com and Sean Zach based on this lawsuit. Anthony Kim, do you remember him?
Anthony Kim.
Anthony Kim is the guy who wore the super ridiculous belt buckles and was like one of the greatest players on the planet for about a year. And then he literally just shot off the face of the earth and stopped playing golf. His name was cited on the list of 71 players who LIV Golf alleges communicated with various PGA Tour officials in regards to alternative tours and leagues in the last 3 years. The list of players includes current and former pros, including Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus, Rory McIlroy, all the way down to guys like Andy Ogletree, who competed in just one LIV event. Anthony Kim, again, has not played golf since 2015. He's occasionally photographed in the wild, like he's some like Sasquatch. Because you never ever see him or hear of him. People are convinced that he's like living like his days in the woods of like Montana. But yeah, Anthony Kim is now for some reason in this court document. Trudging along though on the episode while we get to an almost break. Kyle, we have a new world number 1.
It was his hat, Mr. Krabs. He is number 1.
We have a new Schmitty Warberman Jensen and
Schmitty McIlroy Jensen.
Rory McIlroy. Rory McIlroy. Your new world number 1 for the first time since the golf restart in 2020. He came in as the number 1 player in the world. He lost it because your boy John Rahm won at the Memorial in 2020. Took over that world number 1 spot and has held it. Then gave it to Scottie Scheffler, and finally Rory is back. What a comeback for Rory McIlroy. He started really his when you think about it, his mega quest back to world number 1. He was consistent as a rock, but once LIV started and he won at the RBC Canadian Open, then he just mooned it all the way up, and now finally the spokesman of golf is back as the world number 1 player in the world.
I'll even say it started a little bit earlier.
Okay.
If I'm remembering dates correctly, when the RBC Canada happened. Was that in June?
Yeah.
Or July? Yeah, I think it started at the Masters.
Yeah.
On that shot with Colin.
We're going to keep on citing this
like
moment.
That is the moment where it started for Rory. Like, for his, like, essentially Rory's fuck you tour was that moment when he and Colin, like, that I think was, like, one of those, like, moments in golf that if you ask anybody to just bring up a moment, people that are casual will bring that moment up for a very long time. Like, that is something that, like, when the world comes to an end and there's a highlight video of the PGA Tour, that clip will play in the highlight reel.
So I'm looking at it right now on the OWGR. He was as high as 16th in the world following the Northern Trust 2 years ago. Came back, last year, technically now 2 seasons ago. Came back, worked his way into the top 10 after winning the CJ Cup last year at Summit in Las Vegas. He got all the way up to 8th. Fell back down to 9th. Following the Genesis, finished top 10, moved down to 5th. came all the way back to 9th at the Masters after falling off for a couple of weeks, and then went from 8th at the PGA Championship, 8th at Memorial, won the Canadian Open to go to 3, and then hovered around 3 or 2 for about 8 or 9 weeks until now finally this past week, finally eclipsing Scottie Scheffler. Now, is it a product of Scheffler not playing for the last month and a half outside of the President's Cup? Yes. But Rory's won back-to-back events at the CJ Cup. He won the Tour Championship, which really overarching of everything else. The last time Scottie Scheffler played, he simply masterclassed him, especially because Rory wasn't even top of the leaderboard that week anyways. And now has finally managed to get all the way back up now here to world number 1 by about 5 points. He's ahead of Scheffler by a pretty sizable margin. We haven't seen a margin like that since Tiger Woods was beating out guys back in 2019. So he's certainly eons ahead right now, and sky's the limit. And with that being said, I'm going to play some fanfare for our friend Rory McIlroy and give him his crown back, like he most certainly deserves. Thank you.
Shrek just popped in my head immediately.
Hold on, wait here.
It's giving Bikini Bottom Bubble Bowl.
Or here. There you go. Whenever I hear that, I think of the Princess Diaries and Genovia.
Oh, good call. Good call.
You want
good
to
reference.
All right, my girlfriend brought this up. So she used to be a pro dancer for a minor league hockey team. And whenever they'd play teams in Canada, she would sing the Genovia national anthem during "Oh Canada" because she'd be like, "This sounds just like she could picture Julia Roberts during the
hot take." "Oh Canada."
Sorry,
Banger.
Julie Andrews, not Julia Roberts. I'm sorry,
Yes.
but yes, "Oh Canada" is a fucking banger. I'll give them that. So Rory McIlroy is now the world number 1 once again, yet again. Finally, thank God. It's about a matter of time.
Shout out LeBron James.
Shout out LeBron James.
It's about damn time.
It's about damn time. There is a certain somebody, though, who is eyeing a possibility of taking away his number 1 spot. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, Tom Kim had some questions for Rory McIlroy prior to the CJ Cup. We're going to talk all about Tom Kim, the young legend, and what Rory McIlroy had to say, even with a little bit of a hot take about some fast food. I'm Steve McAvoy. That's KB. You are watching, listening, however the fuck you're doing it. To get the whole podcast right here on Underground Sports Philadelphia. Enough chatter about LIV. I'm tired about it. Tom Kim, yet this past week at the CJ Cup, got on the microphone during Rory McIlroy's press conference and had some funny questions for the pro. He asked him what his advice was as an elder statesman in the world of golf when he was so young and managed to get up to his peak. I'm currently pulling the video up so we can play it for you here on the show. But Tom Kim, man, just eyes, ears, glowing when he saw Rory McIlroy and was all about wanting to learn more from him. And I loved every second of the interview. One thing though that he made mention of, I want to get your take here, KB. He said that Popeyes is better than Chick-fil-A. What do we think?
So I am inexperienced when it comes to Popeyes.
Your butt thanks you.
I have never had the Popeyes sandwich. I've tried on numerous occasions, but the lone Popeyes in my city that I live in is always jumping because it is in an area where it's quick and easy to get lunch, but everyone goes there and it's always busy. So I have never dabbled in the chicken sandwich to compare those. I have had other things from Popeyes. They're all right. It's not like they're horrendous, but you're muted.
I am muted. Damn. You know what's fuego at Popeyes?
What's that?
They're blackened chicken.
I don't know if I've ever had that.
It's so good. It's so good. All right, hold on.
Yeah.
I have the video here of our good friend Tom Kim asking some burning questions to our friend Rory McIlroy. Oh my God, I just lost the video, folks. This is a bad week to be a show host.
Hi, Rory. I have a question for you. And what's it like having so much success as a young player, and coming out and many years on tour? How do you manage all of that?
I didn't have as much success as you're having at such a young age. I think when you start to have success at a young age, I think the biggest thing that I realized is managing your time. You're going to be pulled in so many different directions. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I can see 5 sponsors on you at this point, right? So it's just trying to manage your time to realize what got you to this position, right? Why are you a 2-time PGA Tour winner? Why are you such a great player? And it's the time that you put into it, and it's the practice, and it's not losing sight of that. I think that's the thing. I was speaking here just before you came in about I've always almost found it easier to get to number 1 in the world than staying there. I think staying there is harder. I think you've got a bullseye on your back. You need to work harder. Everyone's coming after you, and that's the one thing I would say is just managing your time and not forgetting why you're in this position and why you're so lucky to get to play with me the next 2 days.
Awesome, thank you.
And that was a joke that went over everyone's head. But.
Last 2 questions, Ryan Lavner.
So, Rory McIlroy, prior to being world number 1, said you got a bullseye on your back and you have to work harder. I wonder how he's feeling now. But Tom Kim, man, just oodling, basically had his Max Homa meets Tiger Woods at the Open moment. Just gazing at wow, you're Rory McIlroy, and yet you're telling me that I'm having more success than you have at a young age, which is crazy to think about. How good Tom Kim's been. You got to realize that Rory McIlroy didn't win an event on tour in 4 months. Tom Kim has 2 wins and 5 starts.
Kim does not sound like what I thought he sounded like. He sounds like he's from California. If you just listen to it, eyes closed, you would think it's like a dude from Southern California, surfer guy.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if he was born in the States or not. Let me actually look here. No, he was born in Seoul.
Yeah,
fascinating. Well,
and his voice is a deeper octave than I expected.
I'm sure we've gone over this, but do you know the story behind him being named Tom?
I don't think I do.
He was infatuated with Thomas the Tank Engine.
Okay, I love him already.
Yeah.
He breaking news for everybody here. Y'all know when I pop up on the Get in the Hole podcast, we have KB's #MyGuys. Not that he wasn't already, but Tom Kim is officially entrenched on the #MyGuys list.
I thought of a shirt. Tom Kim's face implanted on Thomas the Tank Engine, and it's just Thomas the Dank Engine. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, Tom Kim. Absolute legend.
I love Tom Kim. He's the next big, not that he's boisterous and in your face, but he's the next big flair guy for the PGA Tour, if that makes sense. He's going to be the one that I think I talked about this with Ben after the President's Cup. He's going to be what our generation felt about Ricky Fowler. That's what Tom Kim is going to be to this next generation.
I think what's really cool too with Tom Kim is that he represents something more than just a young golfer, right? Obviously, there are Asian golfers who are already paramount on the scene. Matsuyama, Sungjae Im, Siwoo Kim, to name a couple. One thing I found really interesting, though, was if you remember all the way back to the Olympics, right? There was the comments that were being made about Sungjae Im and Siwoo Kim. Now, in South Korea, for those of you who are fans of BTS, everybody in South Korea must partake in some form of military service for, I believe, a year or 2, whatever it happens to be. So BTS, the 6 members, which, by the way, didn't realize this, but BTS in Korean stands for Bulletproof Boy Scouts. which is a sick-ass name, a badass name. They're all going into military service, so they've announced that they're going to be going on hiatus from making music
until 2025.
Yeah, so they're going to be in military service for 3 years. What's really fascinating, though, is that according to South Korean law, you must serve your 3 years unless you are an athlete. The qualification, though, of an athlete to be fully exempt prior to the age of 28 years old is you must win an Olympic gold medal. Now, Siwoo Kim finished with a silver to Xander Schauffele at the last Olympics. And both of them will, in fact, hit 25 prior. I believe, actually, Sun Jae-im is like 26, 27 right now. So they'll both hit the age mark prior to the now next Olympics, which means that they're going to have to go and serve in the military at some point.
Sun Jae-im turns 25 this coming March. He's
there you go. So
currently.
He will be going into service probably at the end of the PGA Tour season. Siwoo Kim shortly behind him because I believe he's 24. So that leaves Tom Kim now really as the premier South Korean golfer. And in terms of Asian golf as a whole, it's now him and Hideki. And then, like, technically, there's the Americanized Asians and Collin Morikawa and Xander Schauffele who have, and even Ricky Fowler, who have Japanese descent or some sort of Asian descent. So
Siwoo Kim is 27. He'll be 28 this coming June.
Oh, really? He's older than Sanjay. I didn't know that. Wow. Okay. Well, so there you go. I believe Siwoo is going to also be going into and I want to say it's like you have until 28 to enlist. So I think he's going to enlist now this year.
I think there's a caveat too, because a lot of people pertaining to BTS, they said like, well, why don't you just defect to America and like, you know, claim citizenship, like get your citizenship and everything. Like, I think that's a caveat that some people have found their way around doing that.
But however, I do know for a fact that both Im and Kim have not done that. Mm-hmm. So then really if at some point they wind up going in the next 2 to 3 years even, right? At that point, Tom Kim's 23 years old. He's still the premier young golfer in golf. Actually, is the youngest one in golf because Zalatoris is 24. Cameron Young's 25. So Tom Kim's the guy. He's the young kid on the block. He's the one who's going to be sticking around for years and years and years to come. So I think that's what's really important here is that Tom Kim is going to wind up being a major player in the game of golf for years to come. We have to get back on Rory here before we dive into some preview of the Butterfield. Last week, Phil Mickelson said in his press conference at LIV Jeddah at the one event that happened in Saudi Arabia that no one even saw, said that LIV is trending upwards while the PGA Tour is trending downwards. Rory, again, completely said, I hate what you're saying here, saying 95% of the talent is here on the PGA Tour. Anyone who takes a logical approach to the game of golf would disagree with what he said. That's some pretty passive-aggressive, hardcore words from Rory. What do you think?
It's pretty
savage.
Savage, yet also very, like, on the nose for the way Rory approaches this kind of stuff, where, like, he's not going to flat out be, you know, in your face about those kind of things, but he's going to make sure you understand what he's trying to say to you.
Exactly. So I totally agree. I totally agree with you with what you're saying. I think it's passive aggressive, but it's also I think Rory's just fed up with the bullshit. I think he's ready to kind of just move on with all this. I
think Rory's just tired of having to be the spokesperson for something that has nothing to do with him.
No, exactly. I totally agree with you. I think now it's time for him to focus in on being world number one. And again, he has the bullseye on his back, and he has to focus in on what's more important for himself. Let's do a little breakdown of the Bermuda Butterfield Championship, or should we go to break first? What do you think?
Let's roll right into it.
All right, let's do it. Bermuda Butterfield Championship, really fast breakdown because I absolutely hate this event. One of the lower scale events on the PGA Tour. If you couldn't tell, it's in Bermuda. It's literally in the name, even though
Bahama, come on, pretty mama.
Yeah, if they could not play Kokomo the entire week, like I'm pretty sure last year they played it as like the outro music for like half the segments on.
I guarantee it's going to be the same way.
It's probably embarrassing. Port Royal Golf Course in Southampton, Bermuda. God, I just totally lost track. Shortest golf course on the PGA Tour, 80. 6,800 yards, par 71. KB, could you guess the grass that we're playing on this week?
Something tells me it's going to be Bermuda grass, Steve.
You're wrong.
Well, that just put a dent in my whole shtick.
I'm totally kidding. It's Bermuda grass.
Okay, then.
Robert Trent Jones design, opened in 1970. Seaside course, elevation changes, unpredictable weather. It's usually raining, or if it's not raining, the course conditions are super wet because you're right on the cliffside, and that water is splashing right up against you. So the water's getting everywhere on the edges. Wind is usually like absolutely insane and howling at this golf course. So a few weather issues to be aware of. Scores tend to vary it actually a lot more than you would think. A few years ago, Brennan Todd won a 24 under. Brian Gay won a 14 under. So a pretty good discrepancy here. But the field this week is just absolutely brutal. If you look at the actual the betting odds here, top 5 players, I can guarantee you, KB, you probably only ever heard of one of them. Denny McCarthy, Thomas Dietrich, Adrian Maronk, Seamus Power, and Mark Hubbard. You've most certainly only heard of Seamus Power, maybe even by a tiny shred.
We've talked about one Seamus Power on this show together.
The field is really bad this week when Denny McCarthy is the number one in the odds bet, and the only thing he can do well is putt.
My kind of guy.
He doesn't do anything well, but he putts really good. Thomas Dietrich, really young, up-and-coming player, as well as Adrian Maronk. Mark Chubba Hubbard, or Mark Homeless Hubs, as they call him, hasn't done much in his career, but has been able to find his way in the mid PGA Tour ranks. Nick Hardy, Aaron Rye. If you know Aaron Rye, he plays with 2 gloves and he uses iron covers. So he's a real peach. Fucking.
How do you really feel, Steve?
He uses 2 gloves and putter covers. Iron covers.
It's like Kenny Pickett.
Worse than that. Kenny Pickett's bad. Looking down on the list here, some names you'll be familiar with. Eric Van Rooyen, he has a great mustache. Doug Gim, he hasn't been able to find his way. Joseph Brownlee, Gary Higo, who ever since Louis left South Africa has had to pull weight and hasn't been able to quite do it. Austin Eckroat, newcomer on the PGA Tour. I believe a friend of ours might be in the field this week as well. And no, it's not Grayson Murray. Stop that. I wanted to say Harry Higgs was going to be playing this week, but I don't think he is.
Great.
He's not.
He is.
Right?
I just have it here via Golf Digest. I have all the people in the field. He is playing.
I was going to say he had to be there. Probably the best person that I think is going to be playing all week. Very well will be down to a golf cart. John Daly. If you want to sprinkle some pizza and beer money, like next to nothing. John Daly plus 150,000 is
$1.
$1 for John Daly to come back and win for the first time in 27 years. Absolutely ridiculous. Some stats to keep in mind here as we trudge through getting towards the end of this episode. Kind of a short one this week, but we have a lot more coming up in the pipeline. Stats to victory here. Look, strokes gained approach, really important. Fairways gained, surprisingly unforgiving rough in this situation. Also, you have to be on the fairway because of the weather conditions. If you get pushed off, it's going to be a really bad time. Strokes gained putting on Bermuda grass, quite obviously. Look out for guys who are good putters. At the end of the day, this whole entire event is going to really be a putting contest. The guy with the hot putter is going to win. And par 3s, 200 plus yards. 3 of them are all over 200 plus yards. To be able to have that good long iron accuracy is going to be really important, especially in the wind. Those are our picks for the keys to victory. Now we got to focus in on the fun stuff. The beer money brought to you by our friends over at Kenwood Beer, Philadelphia's #1 light beer. Go get your hand on some Kenwood beer in time for the Philadelphia Phillies to go on a World Series tear. KenwoodBeer.com. Follow them online. And
new Kenny sweatshirts, limited time only. KenwoodBeer.com. Get them. They tweeted. Don't ask us where the Kenny sweatshirts are in 3 weeks when they're gone. Go get them now. It's cuffing season. It's Kenny season. Go get them now. KenwoodBeer.com. Got to be 21 or older to do so. Of course, always Please drink responsibly.
You want to say to that?
Let me know.
Of course, YouTube gives me an ad at the most inopportune time, right? I hate that shit. Anyways, top 20 picks at the Bermuda Butterfield Championship. KB, who do you got?
Top 20. You know, I'm gonna go with it. Give me John Daly top 20.
Don't worry, you're gonna hear about John Daly more in the episode at some point. I'm going. I've been stroking this player for so long. I've been like all on him. Corn Ferry Tour player, has one career win. Hasn't been able to get that PGA Tour hype and get over the hump. He's been looking for Akshay Bhatia. You've probably seen him on all of Callaway's big time ads. He was one of the premier players trying out the road before it even came out. Indian golfer, glasses, super tall and lanky, long flowy hair, wears really cool joggers. I think Bhatia is going to be a really good play here. He is for top 20, like plus 10,000, something ridiculous. He's super back in these odds, so I'm going to take Bhatia at a really good number for top 20. Who do you got for top 10?
Give me Siwoo Kim top 10.
He's playing this week?
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Plus 365 on the website I'm looking at here via a consensus on a sports book.
Are you sure it's Siwoo Kim or it's Shang Hyun Kim?
I don't know. It's S. Kim, and I figured that was Siwoo Kim.
No, that is not Siwoo Kim, unfortunately.
Well, whoever it is, give them to me. Plus 365.
We'll take that. All right,
that's
great.
an all-day, every-day bet, if you get what I'm saying.
My top 10 is going to be for the man, Seamus Power. I tried to do the Rory voice. I couldn't do it. Power hasn't been playing really well over the last, 5-6 months. Kind of lost his touch. I know last season, like early on last season, he was like the guy in the fall swing. This is his first crack at things. I think Power's going to have a really good week for top 10. Who do you got for top 5?
Seamus Power, top 5. Plus 420, baby.
I hate making this pick because it just shat on him for using iron covers, but Aaron Ray. he's one of the best all-around golfers at the event. He uses iron covers, but like I can't oh my, hold on. I have to pull up a video or like a photo of this guy just to make fun of like how like ridiculous he looks.
That's hilarious.
And like the worst part is like he uses black gloves.
Ooh, it's like black Air Force Ones.
Kind of, yeah, but like on his hands. Yeah, he uses iron covers, which is like really like weird and strange. And he also used some like gadget one week that like wasn't really even a golf bag. I don't know. He's one of those like pioneers of like odd stuff for some reason. Who should gimme play this week?
My gimme is that Harry Higgs makes the cut.
I told you John Daly was. Oh, my thing is all out of whack. I told you John Daly is going to make his way back on this episode, right? Yeah, John Daly's going to make the cut. John Daly at plus 40,000 to make the cut.
Oh, put me down on $1 for that. Good grief.
I can't believe this, honestly. Like this is like
that's crazy.
I just cannot believe usually he plays in like the first group on Thursday at the PGA Championship. This is the one major he won. And the fact that we're going to get him now this week is just hilarious. All right, winner, chicken dinner. Who's winning it this week?
I'm just going to go chalk. Give me McCarthy to win.
I think McCarthy's going to win. Just to play devil's advocate here and try and be a little fun, Thomas Dietrich is going to take home the win this week. One of the big up-and-coming players in front of the DP World Tour has 5 career wins on the European World Tour. German boy will certainly be an island boy this week at Bermuda.
He's plus 2,000 to win.
He is. Final thoughts, KB. We had a pretty quick show, but it was a lot of Rory love, a lot of Aaron Rai hate, and a lot of John Daly talk. What do you think?
I do find it very funny that the John Daly meme template that everybody uses all the time, where it's like people just staring at him, and then he's got the cigar in his mouth, just standing like this. Everybody who is mad about the MLB playoff format, who can go shove it up there, you-know-whats, they put that over top of all the golfers looking at John Daly, and then John Daly is the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah, about accurate. I'm going to stay on the baseball bandwagon here and conclude with this. I realized something watching this playoff. First of all, shout out to the Phillies. Despite my animosity towards them, the Mets and Braves were gnawing at each other's necks for about 3 months. And Bryce Harper and Zach Wheeler were just scoffing at it and said, let's just slide right in.
We were just in the corner watching you kiss each other.
The only people who should be annoyed about the format of the playoffs should be the Dodgers and the Braves because they couldn't win. They don't even deserve to really be mad about it, but they're going to be the ones who are ultimately the most mad about it. They should have absolutely throttled Philadelphia and San Diego, and they simply didn't. I think this is a really good format. I think now
I agree.
Wild card teams get a fair crack at things. They get 3 extra games to get ready. They can, yes, they're going to deploy their third or fourth best starter against the divisional winners number 1, but at the same time, though, you're also going to have your number 1 against their number 4. So it kind of evens out anyways. And again, the 2 extra games to get hot, that really helps. The San Diego Padres just throttled the Dodgers, had 3 games to do it against the Mets. They had a little bit, they had the Joe Musgrove shiny ear chip on their shoulder. They came out, they dominated, and they more than deserved it, and so does Philadelphia. They all more than deserve opportunity, and Aaron Judge next year will be a San Francisco Giant. That's all I have for you guys.
Spicy.
I think it's going to happen. Him and Trey Turner are going to San Fran, or they're going to go to the Queens. I think the former is going to really be the answer here, but to see both of them in Mets unis would be.
I think it'll be interesting with Trey Turner. I think it all depends on what the Phillies do with Gene Segura, if they re-sign him or not, which
I love that.
Me personally, being a Gene Segura stan since day one, I want him back. But you got to remember, Bryce Harper is on the record saying Trey Turner is his favorite baseball player.
That would be a nasty duo. I mean, also you could see the move with. I mean, granted, Didi doesn't play all that much.
Didi's gone.
Exactly.
We DFA'd him. Bryson Stott's our shortstop. Gene's second base. Alec Boehm's at third. You
could try and possibly shove Trey Turner in the outfield as well, if plausible. He technically fits there. But anyways, that's a conversation for a different day. Thank you so much, folks, for tuning in to the Get in the Hole podcast. Steve McAvoy, KB jumping in. Once again, I want to give a shout out to Ben Piro. Certainly not gone. We'll be back at some point. But of course, as the golf career starts to take off and he has to work to earn his living in those lowly levels of Q school and mini tours, he certainly has to do his work. So we will see him again at some point soon. Until then, if you're looking to possibly find your way in the world of golf and start in the podcasting era, hit me up. Talk to me and KB. We're looking for a new co-host. So this way I can have someone more intelligent in the world of golf than Kyle Bennett to talk to.
Yeah,
Kyle, I love you to death, but
I'm casual.
You're casual.
And you can email us at undergroundsportsphi@gmail.com. Slide in the Twitter or Instagram DMs. We're looking to add maybe more than just one person as well. Steve and I we've been talking we think a 3 to 4 host situation works the best. I think for a sport like golf, it gives different perspectives, and we're not just it could be guy, girl, it doesn't matter. I don't care if you're from Saturn. It'll be whoever we think, chemistry wise, knowledge wise, fits in the best. And
women in sports.
The LPGA is right there to talk about as well. So
hell yeah.
Email us if you have any interest. Slide in our DMs. My DMs are open on Twitter. So slide on in and let us know. And of course, subscribe to the pod feed for Get in the Hole. You can search Get in the Hole podcast or Underground Sports Philadelphia on your podcast app of choice. Leave those 5-star ratings and reviews. Helps more people find the show. Gets the show on the charts. And subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. You get full video episodes of Get in the Hole and all of our podcasts on the network. We're on that road to 1K Gauntlet Challenge. We're currently, Steve, at 257 YouTube subscribers. So slowly but surely getting there. And we're also 23 followers away on the main Twitter account from a big, grandiose, massive giveaway that we're partnering up with a good pal of mine who's got quite the Twitter following. So you don't want to miss out on that. At Underground PHI, at Getting the Whole Pod. Follow us on the socials.
Folks, enjoy Butterfield. We'll talk to you guys next week right here on the Getting the Hole podcast. You're listening to Getting the Hole, the official golf podcast of Underground Sports Philadelphia. Catch us every week wherever you get your favorite podcasts, and be sure to like and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Getting the Whole Pod, and follow Underground Sports Philadelphia at Underground PHI. We'll see you next time, and remember, get in the hole!